Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be a special crypto edition for April 7th where I cover 5 of the most popular cryptos in the market. Real quick before I get started, one special note, I will be using the 4-hour time frame for each of these, meaning each candlestick here represents 4 hours worth of time. Obviously, crypto is open 24/7, so I want to get as much value out of this as possible. So by using the 4-hour time frame, I can take a look at bigger pictures and then keep this video and analysis relevant for as long as possible. So crypto number one here, good old Bitcoin. And the thing here with Bitcoin is, by no means am I trying to impress you as I do this. I'm not trying to imply that this is some sort of great discovery on my part or that nobody else has noticed this. I assure you, a bunch of people have drawn that trend line right there and drawn a very similar trend line down there. Let me change that to green to represent more so the bullish dynamic of things. But from a big picture point of view, and when I say big picture, we're talking about the past several weeks, but we have this big old wedge pattern here forming. And I emphasize that a lot of people are watching this because when a lot of people are watching the same patterns and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee in the world of trading, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if Bitcoin can get up to the top of this pattern and then break up through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome. Once again, not guaranteed, but plausible, which puts the breakout point right up there around 28,750, give or take a little bit. And then on the flip side, if the price were to come down there and break to the downside, at that point, I would expect I would expect Bitcoin to at minimum go down there and test that pink line, which on my chart represents the 200 period moving average. But as of right now, you can see very tight range, but it's just a question of can the price get up to that area? And then better yet, can the price break through it? Worth keeping an eye on. But like I said, you got to think that all sorts of people are watching this wedge pattern and waiting just to see which direction it goes. Next one here, Ethereum, and a little different than Bitcoin. Ethereum, has essentially already broken out, so this is very crude. But that wedge that was on Bitcoin, Ethereum has actually already gotten the breakout. So one little minor difference, I would argue, between Ethereum and Bitcoin. And now what we have, I'm going to zoom in here, is a very interesting dynamic. And you got to think that a lot of people are watching, wondering, okay, can the price now start to stay above that purple line, which on my chart represents the very well-known, the very famous 50-period moving average. And to be fair, since the price got above it, it's done a fantastic job respecting that purple line as time has gone by. Sure, there were some breaks below it, so has it been a perfect respect? Of course not. But generally speaking, that level's been a good, done a good job. And given that this purple line now has an upward slope to it, it's reasonable to say that, okay, this right here. So yes, Ethereum has pulled back, but assuming you care about a bigger picture point of view, you're going to have to ask yourself this: well, what was happening before this pullback? And what happened was a nice upward move right there, which has now allowed me to draw a bull flag pattern, and more so the nearer term over the past couple of weeks here. So if you do like bull flag patterns, then this is definitely one to keep an eye on. And like Bitcoin, I make no claims that this is a great discovery. You got to think that a bunch of people have noticed this bull flag pattern on Ethereum, which once again brings us back to that talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies and how it's not guaranteed. But it is valid to think that if the price comes up here and can get a break up through there, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure. But if, broadly speaking, as a technical trader, if you do trade cryptos and you like bull flags, definitely keep an eye on Ethereum. Next one here, Litecoin. Full disclosure, I do own some Litecoin. I don't remember what price I bought it like 3 or 4 years ago, but I guess for disclosure's sake, keep in mind, I do own Litecoin, so I suppose maybe I'm biased in some form or another. But what I do actually like about Litecoin, and maybe this is the bias showing up here, is that there does seem to be a very, very well-defined breakout area right there up at the 95.50 mark. Oh yeah, I definitely bought this thing way higher than $95. But so let me change this to actually red to represent more so the resistance right there. And you can see that over time, and again, you got to think a lot of people have noticed this, but rejected, close, rejected. So basically everybody and their brother's uncle is watching this 95.50 mark on Litecoin and wondering, can the price break up through it? The other thing you got to like is that over time, if you've envisioned these lows as stair steps, you can see that these lows keep getting higher and higher. Therefore, these stair steps keep getting higher and higher. So it does seem to be almost a coil-like pattern here that's just taking shape, and guarantees no, but is it valid? Is it rational to say, okay, are these higher stair steps kind of the leading indicator that a break of this very stubborn level of resistance is about to occur? Worth keeping an eye on. So yeah, Litecoin here at 95.50, definitely a very, very interesting dynamic, and we'll see if these higher lows are indeed the leading indicator to a further upside move. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here in a couple of weeks. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool of charts and how they can and should be used to build consistency to manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for this free live online class. Next one here is XRP Ripple, and very, very nice pattern. So once again, the common theme here, and why I like doing this, is there's so many just kind of self-fulfilling prophecy type patterns that have been forming on a lot of these cryptos here. So the first part of this pattern is going to be this former breakout point, which is indeed now behaving exactly like you would want to see it act. So at this point in time, you can see this level was an area of resistance, but when resistances are broken, you ideally want to see them act as support. And sure enough, when it pulled back here, you can see when it started to go sideways right at that area. So as of now, a classic example of this area of resistance now behaving as support. So from red to green to represent support. And that level is right there at essentially the 49-cent mark. So 49 cents, ideal level of support, because as long as 49 cents holds, then the overall pattern here that I'm about to draw remains in play, with the other part of this pattern being right here, so actually a pretty interesting dynamic, because as I speak, the price is essentially knocking at the door. So let's zoom in here so you can see what I mean. But as I speak, you can see the price is basically knocking on the door. So in other words, over the weekend, is Ripple going to get some sort of technical pattern breakout? A very valid question. Or maybe you're watching this, I don't know, let's just say Sunday at some point. Which on that note, happy Easter, but maybe this thing's rejected back down to the downside. We'll just have to see what happens. But as of the recording right now, knocking on the door of not only that trend line, but also that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So it's definitely got quite a bit of headwind that it's facing. But that's really going to be the key question that you need to ask yourself, because you'll be watching this, probably several hours or a couple days from now, is what actually happened here. If the price did break above there, then that is a sign that you are now experiencing a technical breakout, where the question would then transition into, okay, well, just how powerful of a breakout it's going to be, how much momentum is going to show up. So keep that in mind. But if you're watching this and the breakout didn't happen, then the next question becomes, okay, well, at least has the price held above 49 cents? So those will be the two pivotal questions here moving into the weekend. Next one here, Dogecoin, and yes, there was that big spike from a couple of days ago, and as of right now, looking like that spike didn't have any sort of genuine power behind it. And I say that because, and I'm not going to commit to it fully, because to be fair, from the bigger picture point of view, the price is still up above that pink line, which is the 200-period moving average, down here at basically 0.076. So 0.076 would be my personal line in the sand, meaning, and I'm not saying this will occur, but if this move continues to drift downwards and then gets down to the 200-period and continues to drift down below there, at that point, not only would this entire move have been wiped away, but now all of a sudden, the price would be down at lows that have not been seen for several weeks by now. So again, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but that would be my line in the sand. So I'm not willing to commit and say that this move was completely false and then was completely just kind of a one-day wonder. I'm not willing to go that far, because to be fair, the price is still above that moving average. But if the price drops below there, then at that point, I'm saying, yeah, this entire move here was just basically a quick little pump and dump. And again, what gives me the right to say that? Well, the fact that the price would have literally wiped away this entire move, and it would now be down even lower than where this was when the move itself started. If the price does start to turn itself around, very interesting trend line, which is so steep. I mean, that is one very, very aggressive trend line, but that's the level that you got to think a lot of people are probably watching that trend line. So for those technical players that like to play those breakouts, you got to think that they're probably reasonably watching that and wondering, okay, if the price can come up here and break up through it, maybe that's their buy signal, which circles back to the whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. And if that trend line breaks, then no guarantees, but is it plausible to think that maybe people just start buying? Well, just because the trend line is broken, yeah, that does seem like a plausible outcome. So again, support-wise, definitely, in my opinion, the must-hold level, that 200-period moving average down there at 0.076. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, keep an eye on that trend line. So that wraps up the special crypto edition. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live class. Like I said, it'll be a couple weeks, Thursday, April 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. If you would like for me to do more of these crypto editions, then communicate that to me down in the comment section. Hit that like button and please, and leave a comment, more crypto. Something like that implies that you did enjoy these videos. I know I'm usually only doing them on stocks, but I'm open to doing crypto editions too if they are popular and if you enjoy them. So if you enjoy them, if you want me to keep doing these, then like I said, hit that like button and then leave a comment down below, even if it's just saying more crypto, something that basic. So again, get signed up for that free live class, hit the like button, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and have a great Easter weekend.